Have you ever watched a video that was so monumentally stupid that you just had to make a video on it? That you just had to post a rebuttal video when you had the chance? I found that chance. I have found my first ever chance to do so. With this fucking Vox video I found while I was at school. I'm just sitting there at school looking through YouTube to see this little video from Vox titled, "Why Humans Are So Bad at Thinking About Climate Change." And first off, I'm like, okay, this seems a little sketchy. I don't know what they're trying to do here. So I watched the video to get a minute 48 in, and I'm just like, I can't take this anymore. These people don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And Vox is being stupid as usual. So we'll get into it. And it's like a 9-minute long video that I'll probably be stopping it frequently. Also, I'm playing Gears of War 3, which is kind of funny because they're talking about, oh, we shouldn't be talking about the doomsday scenarios and stuff. It's like, but you always talk about it in doomsday scenarios. And most of the stuff you talk about is really shitty.
We are hurtling toward the day when climate change could be irreversible.
Sea levels already altering this nation's coast.
China's capital is choking in its worst pollution of the year.
But that's something that got me off in the first few seconds. Capital is choking. Yeah, really, it's capitalism killing everybody. I'm sure it's much better in North Korea where they're literally fucking each other over there. And then in the Middle East, not much better there. And guess what? There's a lot of oil in the Middle East. And people have been condemning the United States to getting into wars just for oil. I mean, what the fuck? You know, I don't think we went in there for oil. There's a lot of stuff we went in there for that we had just cause for. So, I mean, this is some unsubstantiated bullshit.
5% of species will become extinct.
Sea levels rise.
My ass.
Is in glaciers melting.
Glaciers melting? No, glaciers are not melting. They are breaking off because that's what ice does. And the Antarctic ice cap, guess what? It's still gaining more than it loses. And I'm using numbers from NASA here. Over 100,000 tons are being put on the Antarctic ice shelf every year, but that only slowed just recently to about 80,000. It's slowed a little bit. You're still getting thousands of tons.
Okay, you know, I get it. It's not like I don't care about polar bears and melting ice caps. I'm a conservation scientist, so of course I care. I've dedicated my entire career to this.
You must have a really really shitty dedicated career. To be really shitty, huh? Yeah, I bet you're really regretting working at that stupid ass college you went to. I didn't see it. I don't remember what he went to, but I don't care.
But over the years, one thing has really become clear to me. We need to change the way we talk about climate change.
Climate lab. Climate lab. Oh, that sounds super smart. Well, it's super fucking doofus-headed.
This doom and gloom messaging just isn't working. We seem to want to tune it out. This fear, this guilt, we know from psychology, is not conducive to engagement. It's rather the opposite. It makes people passive. Because when I feel fearful or guiltful, I will withdraw from the issue and I'll try to think about something else that makes me feel better. And with the problem...
Well, no shit, Sherlock. Why do you think people aren't tuning into your climate change bullshit? Because all you're doing is doom and gloom, and then people are seeing through your bullshit. They're like, oh, looks like they were wrong, but they aren't admitting they're wrong, so there's no reason to listen to them. I mean, seriously, more than half of the fucking doomsday theories they predicted, along with a bunch of stuff that Al Gore did in his movie, An Inconvenient Truth, have been proven wrong, and at the time points that they were said to have happened, didn't happen. Like Mount Kilimanjaro was said to not have snow by 2012 or something. It still has plenty of fucking snow. Plenty of snow. Year round. Sometimes it doesn't have a lot, but it still has snow. And this is something that Steven Crowder pushed on. I recommend you watch his video on climate change. I did. It's I think it was a 20-minute video. I think the top 5 reasons climate change is retarded. It's not the exact title, but it's close enough. Oh, damn, I hate this part. No, Daddy, no! So anyway, let's keep going.
This overwhelming. It's pretty easy to just turn away and kick the can down the road. Somebody else can deal with it. So it's no wonder that scientists and policymakers have been struggling with this issue too.
You've been struggling with this issue because you're fucking stupid and you're out of touch with the average American. Who, guess what? Needs oil to get somewhere. They need the gas. They need that car. And that green shit that you're trying to do, that ain't working either. Like, it's more useful and less damaging to the environment to use an old used car. Just an old used car back before the 2000s, back before people were really freaking out about global warming. Use those cars, not this Prius white guilt mobile with poor handling. That's a quote, by the way, from Stephen Crowder. White guilt mobile with poor handling. I'm not stealing his joke. You know, I'm not trying to get in trouble for that. I mean, that is completely his joke.
So I like to say that climate change is the policy problem from hell. You almost couldn't design a worse problem as a fit with our underlying psychology or the way our institutions make decisions. Many Americans continue to think of climate change as a distant problem. Distant in time?
Oh, really? A distant problem? Oh, and how's the Paris Peace Accords working out? Because according to the numbers, the reduced carbon emissions, 32% reduced carbon emissions, if the Paris Peace Accord still stands by 2100, will only cut the average temperature down to 0.01%. 0.01%. That is not substantial. I mean, really? This is one of the reasons why these climate change people lose in elections. Like Jill Stein. She ran on this for the Green Party. She got her ass beat in the general election. In a year when third party should have been huge. Huge. We had to make the wall, and it's huge. You'd see how bad that Jill Stein and Gary Johnson got beat. They got beat by huge margins. By me. By me. This utter asinine.
That the impacts won't be felt for a generation or more, and distant in space. That this is about polar bears.
What the fuck? It's in space. When did outer space get dragged into global warming? What, did the comet come too soon and it fucked up an ice cap? Is it Neon Genesis Evangelion or something? Where there's a huge monster lying under the ocean and lying under the ice caps and all it took was one dumbass to touch it and blow us all to oblivion? Is that it? Is this it? What are you doing?
Maybe some developing countries.
Again, it's not like we don't care about these things. It's just such a complicated problem.
Then why don't you work
on
on
it?
it?
The thing is, we've faced enormous, scary climate issues before. Remember the hole in the ozone layer? As insurmountable as that's...
The hole in the ozone layer. Really? The hole in the ozone layer. Oh, what about that? I haven't heard about that for the last 20 fucking years. And I've only been alive for 18. Like, the most I heard of it, maybe I was 10. That was it. That's 10. I haven't heard anything recent from big global warmist people about that at all. I just haven't.
Come on, Jace, work to do.
And even with that, even when, and I'm gonna go back even as far as World War II, even when oil was being used big time, it didn't up the average temperature of the world. And there was a lot of oil used in World War II. It's one of the big reasons why World War II was such a success for industrialized nations like the United States and Great Britain. It's because of oil. And then now you have the miracle known as fracking, which basically is the only thing that saved the Obama economy, even though there was so much against oil. These people don't understand all this stuff they're trying to make to curb global warming. What do you think they make it out of? Minerals. They're making it out of minerals. They're making them out of oil. A lot of the plastic we use, oil. Bioplastics are like the only thing that could really curb any pollution because of it, but I can't see it happening now because we're so dependent on it. There's not enough funding. There are some pretty lefty companies that are at least trying to help with that, but they're not doing a good job at it. Damn.
Into the 1970s and 80s. We were able to wrap our heads around that and take action.
That's when it happened, the 70s and 80s. Yeah, I only heard about it when I was 10. Even then, the average temperature didn't rise. It's been steady for over 300 years. We've been in a global period of stagnation as far as the temperature goes. We're still technically in a cooling period right now because the ice caps are so big. Especially Antarctica.
People got this very simple, easy to understand concrete image of this protective layer around the Earth, kind of like a roof, protecting us, in this case, from ultraviolet light, which, by the way, has the direct health consequence of potentially giving you skin cancer.
No shit.
So now you got my attention. And so then they came up with this fabulous term, the ozone hole. Terrible problem, great term.
People also got a concrete in
Terrible problem, great... What? Terrible problem, great term? What the fuck? What? Great term. You're gonna take something terrible and make a funny term, and compliment how nice the term sounds. That sounds so lefty. That's so lefty. Jeez. Yeah, I'm just imagining all these scientists' faces on these things. I'm just blowing the hell out of them. Just fuck it.
how we even ended up with this problem. For decades, chlorofluorocarbons, or CFCs, were the main ingredient in a lot of products, like aerosol spray cans. Then, scientists discovered that CFC...
Oh my god, do you not understand the reason that the EPA was created? It was because of said aerosol. Well, technically, it was because it was like pesticide stuff you can use in aerosol cans. And guess what? The EPA has been shit. It was founded on a book, which is basically founding a lie that by the next 100 years we would all die because of pesticides, which is retarded. Jesus, I hate these people. Sometimes the stupidity astounds me. To kick your ass off the deck. Fuck you. God damn it.
We're actually destroying the atmospheric ozone.
The atmosphere. Blah, blah,
People
blah,
could
blah.
look
I'm
at
an
their own
idiot.
hairspray and say, do I want to destroy the planet because of my hairspray? I mean, God, no. And so what's interesting is that sales of hairspray and those kinds of products, and underarm aerosols, started dropping quite dramatically.
Oh, this reminds me about something Bernie Sanders said. So why do we have to have about 50 things of deodorant? No, then now we have this bumbling idiot talking about how aerosol cans for deodorant and hairspray are causing global warming. It's just as bad as Kerry, as Secretary of State Kerry, saying, "Oh, diarrhea is causing global warming."
People listen to scientists.
We're only 3 minutes into the video and I'm triggered already. Well, I've been triggered.
Took action. Now,
that's why I'm making this video.
The hole in the ozone layer will be healed by around 2050. That's actually pretty amazing. And while stopping the use of one product is actually pretty easy, climate change is caused by greenhouse gases. That's much, much trickier.
Oh my god, greenhouse gases exist whether you want them to or not. Animals produce them. There's no way you're going to be able to stop them unless you put some type of drug in there and then you just fuck them up. Fuck up their biology. And then in other parts of the world, they have to use greenhouse gases to survive. People have to burn piles of shit to keep themselves warm. They have to burn their own they have to burn shit to live. And with what the Paris Peace Accords want to do is they want to take that away. They want to kill people. I mean, this is literally what they want to do. This is retarded. Ha! Explosion. I mean, I get it. I mean, there are some environmental issues we can be concerned about. Pollution. I mean, that's a big thing. Recycle. We gotta stop the landfills from getting bigger. I mean, even this game has a little bit of environmental issues because of the lambent. They're a natural resource that basically turn evil and try to kill you, which is an interesting concept. I mean, not like oil. I mean, they still use oil in this game, but this is supposed to be like unlimited energy source, but the unlimited energy source turns evil because, you know, evil.
Yeah. Because the sources are more complicated, and for the most part, they're totally invisible.
They're invisible.
Right now, there is CO2 pouring out of tailpipes, there's CO2 pouring out of buildings, there's CO2 pouring out of smokestacks, but you can't see it. The fundamental cause of this problem is largely invisible to most of us. I mean, if CO2 was black, we would have dealt with this issue a long time ago.
So CO2 touches every...
CO2 shouldn't be black. If it were black, it would be something a lot different. It would be called smoke. Oh yeah, and if CO2 were black, there's no way we would have been able to deal with it because CO2's everywhere. The sky. This whole thing. All of this stuck in the atmosphere, CO2. Get your fuck over your bullshit.
Part of our lives. Our cars, the places we work,
Your mom.
we eat. For now, let's just focus on one thing.
Your
our
mom?
energy use.
Oh,
How
what
do
the
we
hell's
make
that?
visible? That was the initial goal of UCLA's Engage project.
Oh, that's where you went to school. UCLA. Oh yeah, this is also the school that Ben Shapiro condemned for being anti-Semites. Yeah. Yeah, good job, buddy. Good job. Well, at least I think it was Ben Shapiro that was talking about UCLA being anti-Semite because they were against Israel. I have to check in on that. Don't take my word for it. I encourage you to look that up. But anyway, I wouldn't trust UCLA with a damn thing. A damn thing. Good God, man. Good God.
One of the nation's largest behavioral experiments in energy conservation.
What we're trying to do is to figure out how to frame information about electricity usage so that people...
You know, I have a pretty good idea. Why don't we just go out in space and mine rocks? Like, literally, why can't we just go on the moon and start mining shit? Of course, we probably will never get to do that right now since Obama killed the space shuttle program and then canceled Bush's new space plan that was to replace the shuttle program because it was too expensive. Dude, if he's the one that said in 2007 by the time 2016 happens we'll have colonized the moon or something. Guess what? Because of him, we ain't able to colonize shit. Like seriously, the invention of the Martian could have happened by now. But it's not gonna happen. The whole planet's infected. The weather, there's a lot of environmental issues you can pinpoint in Gears 3. And I don't condemn for it. I mean, they do a really good job with it. Like, the lambent is an interesting concept, but I'm telling you, no global warmist has ever. I've not heard a global warmist just come onto Gears, come into video games and say, "Oh, the lambent is a perfect example of what would happen if we keep using oil and how badly the world's gonna get fucked in the ass." No, it's not gonna happen.
Save energy and conserve electricity. The idea is that electricity is relatively invisible to people.
The research team outfitted part of a student housing complex with meters that track real-time usage of appliances and then sent them weekly reports. So you can see how much energy the stove used versus the dishwasher or the fridge.
We realized because of this project that the fridge was like the monster.
So lucky for them, their landlord...
Did you just hear... Did you hear that? The fridge is the monster? Is that what he said? My God, if he said that, I'm gonna... Oh God, I'm gonna yell. I'm gonna yell across the house and get in trouble. Well, no one's here right now, so... But yeah, I mean, that sounds... It sounds a little too good to be bullshit. That just sounds a little too convenient to be bullshit. I think it's like they're trying to intentionally give me gimmies.
To an energy efficient one. They also learned other energy saving tips, like unplugging their dishwasher when not in use, and air drying their clothes.
Why wouldn't you do that? I mean, I always thought that was a general rule: unplug shit when you're done, well, unless it's stuff you use all the time, like your dishwasher or something. If you happen to have a lot of dirty dishes. I mean, damn. Oh, we get the double chainsaw, and I chainsaw thin air.
It's during the summer months, and researchers in turn discovered where people were willing to cut back. The Engage project wanted to know what types of messaging could motivate people to change their behavior.
We wanted to see over time, over a year, and with repeated messages, how do people behave? How does that impact the consumer behavior? And what we found is that it's very different.
Some households were sent personalized emails with their energy bill about how they could save money. Others learned how their energy use impacted the environment and children's health. Those who received messages about saving money.
Right now, I think the best thing we can do to save money is to stop making so much waste disposal. Because honestly, right now, there are places that could be overrun by landfills, and you can have ghettos for an example. They're literal shitholes. I mean, there's trash everywhere. You go to big cities and you go to a ghetto or something, it's pretty shitty because of all the trash. Honestly, right now, the biggest source of pollution to me is waste, and we are doing nothing about waste.
We did nothing. It was totally ineffective because electricity is relatively cheap.
No shit.
But emails sent
No. Germany did this whole electricity program. They were using solar power. There were times where it was really huge, and they had too much electricity, and they literally had to give it out to people for free. And then there were times where there was such a shortage that they had to ration power. Like, they had to ration all of that power. So, I mean, I don't think using electricity would really help in that same way. Whoops, that hurt.
Pollutants produced rates of childhood asthma and cancer. Well, those led to...
Oh yeah, that was something I also figured out. That, yeah, no, that doesn't help. Especially if you don't live near a refinery. I mean, this is a video that a bunch of Bernie Sanders reporters put out whenever Trump said he was going to reevaluate the EPA and the Clean Power Plan that Obama put through. That was one of the things that came up. It's like, all this stuff, it would stop asthma and shit. It would stop childhood asthma, stop childhood mortality. Dude, the United States has one of the lowest childhood mortality rates in the world. The world. So, I mean, it's pretty good living in the U.S. with the amount of oil we use. So, I mean, come on. Use your head, you dumb shit.
% drop in energy use.
My God, we're 6 minutes in. There's still 3 minutes left. I want the cancer to end.
Now, in a separate study, researchers brought social competition into the mix.
Oh, social justice warriors.
Posters around the dorm building to publicly show.
Oh, social justice warriors. Really?
Red dots for energy wasters, green for those doing a good job, and a shiny gold star for those going above and beyond. This social pressure approach led to a 20% reduction in energy use. This strategy was also used at Paulina's complex, and it definitely brought out her competitive streak.
For me, the competition was what motivated me, because seeing your
Excuse me while I commit suicide.
And telling you that you are doing the average, but you are not the best, it was like, why I'm doing like
airsoft gun, by the way.
Didn't
really kill myself.
I always wanted the gold star because it's like, oh my god, I want to be like less consumption of energy in the whole building.
And psychology studies have actually proved this. We are social creatures.
Then what else? Why are you stating the obvious? This entire thing has been about psychology. At least what it looks to be. Like, the whole thing. Just psychological aspects. This is literally what this video is. Why are humans so bad at thinking about climate change? This is also... So why are you going to the basics of human nature? We are social. We cannot survive without another person with us. You get lonely. You want to make babies. And even if you're gay or lesbian, you want to have babies. You want to have something there. You want at least a dog or a cat. Maybe a horse. Hell, maybe a cattle. Of course we're social creatures.
As individualistic as we can be, turns out we do care about how we compare with others. And yes, we do like to be the best.
Some people don't want to say, oh, I'm like the average. No, my usage is different and I want to be able to act on it.
And people can't.
You want to brag about how much energy you use? Wow, you sound like such a prick. I mean, bragging about how much energy you use is just as bad as saying, oh, I use all my time reading. It's bragging about how much you read. It's like bragging like that. It's like you're a little kid and you're trying to get points so you can go on a field trip with your library, and some guy has already got like 500 points. Look how much I've read in this short amount of time. I mean, you're just being a dick and rubbing it in our faces. Like, that's what you're trying to sell here.
Act on it. Because with these meters, they can now see their exact impact. A company called O-Power is playing with this idea of social competition.
No, I don't want any social justice warrior crap anymore. I'm tired of it.
Personalized energy reports to millions of customers around the world. Now consumers can not only see their energy use, but how it compares to their neighbors. Like the UCLA study found, this subtle social pressure encourages consumers to save energy.
Consumers.
It's been so effective that in 2016, O-Power was able to generate the equivalent of 2 terawatt-hours of electricity saving.
What about anyone else? What about the Sam Rayburn Dam that I'm literally right beside? What about the Sam Rayburn Dam, man? How much electricity does hydroelectricity produce? Huh? Why aren't you citing that? Why aren't we making any dams? Why are we ignoring the benefits of hydroelectricity? And how well it provides the people in the Southeast Texas area with power? Why aren't we talking about that? And why aren't we talking about that Texas, not subscribing to your social justice bullshit, produce 20% of America's energy? Out of the 50 states, that 20%, that's a big margin. Why aren't you talking about that?
That's enough to power every home in Miami for more than a year.
Bullshit.
And they're not alone. Even large companies are tapping into behavioral science to move the dial. Virgin Atlantic Airways gave a select group of pilots feedback on their fuel use. Over the course of a year, they collectively saved over 6,800 tons of fuel by making some simple changes. Adjusting their altitudes, routes, and speed reduced their carbon dioxide emissions by...
I don't know. I don't think a lot of pilots would take too well to being told how to fly, especially when they're used to flying on certain routes. Like if a guy goes from DC to New York a lot and they have this really set way of flying, I don't think they're going to change that very easily. It's like trying to change a driving habit. It's not going to happen that easy. As far as this study, I'll have to look into it, and I encourage you guys to look at their sources because they might have some truthful thing. But right now, I'm calling out the bullshit, and it all seems like bullshit. Oh God, thank God, there's only a minute left.
Over 20
the brain cancer seeping in. I think I got a headache.
These behavioral nudges do seem to be advancing how we as a society deal with some pretty complicated climate change issues. But it turns out we're just getting started. There is no quick fix.
We need people changing their companies, changing their business models, changing the products and services they provide. This is about broader scale change.
Damn it,
Part
I'm
of
still
this
too used to
change
Gears
includes
4.
embracing what makes us human. That it can't just be a guilt trip about dying polar bears.
Guilt trip about dying polar bears. There are more polar bears ever in the time that we've known about them. Since we've started recording them, there have been more polar bears now than ever before. And those motherfuckers kill humans. They will hunt you down and eat you like it's like you're a freaking steak. It's just that you're not cooked. God.
Did you get my,
Guilt trip. And then he also said something about how the way we view ourselves. It was like, no, man, I view myself pretty shitty, and I view everybody else a lot more shitty than I view myself. I'd rather not expand my view on how shitty I view everyone, especially people who tell me to comply, or at least imply that I should go with the social justice narrative. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm just not going to do it. Piss me off too much.
We're driving around in gas guzzlers.
Gas guzzlers?
Like how we're making progress, really being aware of our energy use and taking advantage of that competitive spirit we all have in order to really move us from a state of apathy to
My
action.
mom was a state of apathy. That's why she left the Soviet Union.
Is by far the biggest issue of our time. Climate Lab is a new series from Vox and the University of California, and we'll be exploring some...
No! Vox, you're...
If you want to learn more, head to climate.University of California.
What the frick? This is insanity. Oh, this ticks me off. Okay. So I've only got one takeaway. Vox is going down the deep end. And there was another video right under that video talking about from spy to president, the rise of Vladimir Putin. And by president, I don't know if they're implying like the spying of like the Vladimir Putin that apparently helped Donald Trump, but that liberals keep complaining about, but with no evidence. Or just him being the president of Russia right now, and he's also being a huge prick. Shit. So, I mean, Vox is going down the deep end, HuffPo's going off the deep end, Tumblr as usual is off the deep end. They are the deep end! This is like, it's like the high ground. They are the high ground. They claim they have the moral high ground, but in reality they don't. These big sites are just, they're dying because of what Trump, how badly handled they got in the election, the extremely close election, I might add. I mean, these people have genuinely lost their minds, and it's fun watching them, but when they publish something like this and they claim to be serious, it just makes me want to cry. Okay, so I hope you all enjoyed that video. This is another FML Rebuttal. And my first one to an actual video that I don't think many people have gotten onto yet, so hopefully I can jump on this train first tomorrow when I post it. So anyway, have a good day, don't die, and you might want to get a brain scan because you might have cancer. So, sorry. So sorry.